This is your FBI. This is your FBI, an official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. To your FBI, you look for national security, and to the Equitable Society for financial security. These two great institutions are dedicated to the protection of you, your home, and your country. Tonight, the story of a crime against our war effort, draft dodging.
It's not news when a man is drafted. A notice rarely appears in the nation's newspapers unless that man is a celebrity. It is news, though, when a man is caught trying to evade the draft. And so notice does appear in the papers. That's why it may seem that we have had many draft dodges in this war. Actually, we haven't. Actually, the number has been very small, particularly when compared to the last war, when 7 out of every 1,000 men were delinquent. When whole areas like Times Square in New York were roped off and slacker raids were common. In this war, instead of 7, only 1 out of each 1,000 eligibles has been delinquent. The FBI has vigorously sought to get men in the Army instead of jailed. Those who have tried to make a racket out of the draft have tried many schemes. Some of their victims, like teenage kids just out of high school earning their first real paychecks in war plants, and reluctant, in a rather human way, to give up those checks and go to war, have been misled by a vicious type of criminal.
Hey, Rick!
Hmm? Oh, hi, Chubb.
Hey, did you eat lunch yet?
Yeah, I went across the diner.
Oh.
Where'd they get you working?
I'm over in assembly.
Oh? You get the same dough?
Yeah. But not as much overtime. It don't make any difference now, though.
Hmm?
I got that paper this morning.
Oh, what paper's that?
Greetings from Uncle.
Oh.
Yeah. Says I should report for my physical next Monday. That's when you go, ain't it?
Yeah.
You should have seen my mother. I think I was 2 years old or something, the way she acted. I tried to tell her I ain't the first guy who was ever drafted.
Ah, it stinks.
Huh?
Well, it ain't fair, Chubb. We got good jobs here. We're making real dough. Why don't they give us a break?
Well, the Army needs young guys, Rick.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I don't like the idea either.
Well, then why don't we do something about it?
What do you mean, not report or something?
No.
Then what else?
Well, I ran into a guy last night.
Yeah?
I used to play ball with him over in the park.
Mm-hmm.
He took his physical last month and they flunked him.
What was the matter with him?
Nothing.
I don't get it.
He beat the whole thing on account of some pills he took.
What kind of pills?
I don't know. He bought them off a guy. It made him look like he had a bad heart or something.
Really got away with it, huh?
Yeah, sure. He showed me his card, 4F.
Gee.
I found out from him where to find the guy who sells them pills. Hangs out in a bowling alley over on 10th Street.
Well, you could get in trouble on a thing like that.
This fella didn't.
How much are the pills?
I don't know. I was figuring maybe I'd go over that bowling alley tonight and find out. You want to come?
Well, gee, I don't know.
Well, think it over, Chubb. I'll meet you outside the gate at 5 o'clock.
Would you like to bowl a string, boys?
No, thanks.
Shoot a rack of pool, maybe?
Oh, no, we'd rather talk to you someplace, Mr. Butler.
Well, let's sit on one of these benches at the back.
Okay, come on, Jim. Yeah, all right.
You work out at the bearing plant, huh?
Yeah,
Must be knocking off plenty of overtime.
we do okay.
Here, sit down.
Oh, thanks.
Now, what can I do for you?
Well, I already told you this pal of mine said I should come to see you. It's about them pills.
Oh?
We're both taking our physicals next Monday.
And you just as soon not pass him, is that it?
Yes.
Well, I guess maybe we can do some business. Did he tell you the price?
No.
It's $100 a box.
Hey.
100? For each of us?
That's right.
That's a lot of dough, mister.
Look, I didn't hustle your business. That's what I charge. Take it or leave it.
Gee.
Now, don't tell me you can't afford it. You're both making a good week's pay.
Yeah, but that's
Do you want to beat the draft or don't you?
Well, yeah.
Sure.
And get it up, boys. I guarantee results.
Well, we don't have that kind of money with us.
When can you get it?
Tomorrow, I guess. How about you, Chubb?
Yeah. Tomorrow's okay.
Swell. You can meet me right here.
Well, how many of the pills you take?
There's 3 in each box. You take them 6 hours apart the night before your physical.
Do they hurt you?
Hurt you?
Oh.
How?
Do they make you sick or anything?
No, you just get a little dizzy. They'll fool any doctor you go up against.
Well, look, I gotta be getting home, Chubb.
Okay.
You'll be here tomorrow, boys?
Yeah, we'll be here right after work.
Look, I hope we don't get in a jam on this thing, Mr. Butler.
This thing has worked for dozens of guys. There ain't nothing wrong in it. Keeping kids like you out of the Army, keeping you from being killed. Now, that's being patriotic.
Criminals never know when to quit. Never know that a racket can last just so long. In this case, the existence of the racket was exposed when the 2 boys collapsed during their physical examination and became so violently ill that they had to be taken to a hospital. It was obvious to the Army doctors that both boys had taken the same kind of pill. Obvious that both were trying to evade the draft. Obvious that this was a case for the FBI. And so, as soon as the boys had recovered sufficiently, a special agent questioned them at the hospital.
How do you feel, boys?
Not so good.
You, son?
Awful.
Are you well enough to answer a few questions?
About what happened?
Yes. I'd like all the details on where you got those pills.
You tell him, Chubb.
Okay. Well, we got him off a guy who hung around a bowling alley over in 10th Street.
Where on 10th Street?
Right near the corner of Maple Avenue. I don't know the address.
I think it's number 720, 10th Street.
I see. Who was this man?
His name was Ralph Butler.
How did you contact him?
A pal of mine told me about him. He said we should go there and see him.
Did he charge you for the pills?
Yes, sir.
How much?
$100.
A piece?
Yes, sir.
Well,
They came 3 in a box, and we took one every 6 hours the night before the physical.
That was some job, too, sir. I had to set the alarm twice during the night.
well, you're both very lucky. I just read the laboratory report, and the ingredients in those pills might have killed you.
Gee.
We gonna be okay, mister?
Yes, doctors believe you'll recover completely.
Boy, hope so.
Now, can you describe this man, Butler?
Yeah, he's about your size. Tall, I mean.
He was lots fatter, Chum.
Yeah. He was baldy-headed, wore kind of flashy clothes.
How old would you say he was?
Oh, he was real old. Must have been about 40.
Tell about that address he gave us.
What was that?
Well, the second day we went to see him, the day he gave us the pills, he wanted to know did we have any friends he could do business with.
Yes.
Well, he told us he wasn't going to be around the bowling alley anymore. But anyone who wanted the pills could write to him about him.
Where?
Care of General Delivery.
I see.
Mister,
Yes.
I guess we're going to get put in jail on account of this, huh?
Well, you've broken the law.
Well, can't you leave Chubb out of this? He didn't want any part of it. This was all my idea.
Son, I'm afraid you're both involved.
We're real suckers.
How do you feel about going in the Army now?
Mister, we'd love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to the U.S. Attorney. I won't promise you what the decision will be, but you might have another chance.
This was not the first time that such a case had cropped up for the FBI. Not even the first time it had cropped up in this particular city. A watch was set up at the bowling alley, but the man did not return. However, special agents had another lead, a real lead. They had a description of the man responsible, and they had a way to reach him. That way was through the post office. The agents waited and watched there every day and every night, waited for someone to pick up a letter. A letter addressed to Mr. Ralph Butler in care of General Delivery. Early in the afternoon of the fourth day, someone did pick up a letter for Ralph Butler. Not a rather stout, bald-headed man, but a sallow, sandy-haired boy. 2 agents followed him carefully to a building in the business district, watched him go into an office on the 3rd floor, and then stopped him in the hall as he came out.
Excuse me, son.
Uh-huh.
You just delivered the letter to that officer?
Yes, sir.
Who accepted it?
Nobody.
You mean there's no one in there?
That's right. I put it on the desk and left.
Who asked you to deliver the letter?
Some man I met on the street.
Huh?
He said I should pick up a letter addressed to Mr. Ralph Butler at the general delivery window in the post office.
Yes.
He asked me to bring it here to this doctor's office, and he gave me a quarter.
Well, this man who asked you to do the errand, was he about my height, son? Rather stout, bald-headed?
Yeah, that's him.
Thanks, son.
Okay, sir.
Come on, Perry. Let's take a look at this office.
Right.
This must be the doctor that Butler told his other customers about.
The one who made the pills.
Yes. Dr. Woodbury's Health Club. Let's go in, Perry.
Right. It's not exactly an elaborate layout.
No. Well, this is apparently the anteroom. Let's see what's in the next office.
Look at those charts on the wall. Typical quack equipment.
Yes. Go ahead, Perry.
Thanks. Well, at least there's a desk in here.
But no doctor.
What do we do now?
Just wait. Someone should turn up for that letter. I have a hunch it won't.
Wait.
Oh, who are you?
We're waiting for Dr. Woodbury.
Oh, is the doctor out?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'd better wait, too, then.
Do you work here?
No.
You a patient?
No, I've come here about my son.
I see.
Is the doctor treating you, ma'am?
Yes. That is, I think he is.
What do you mean?
Well, how much do you know about Dr. Woodbury?
Very little.
Are you patients of his?
No.
Do you intend to be?
Well.
I certainly wouldn't advise it.
Oh, why not?
Well, there's something funny about his business.
How's that?
My son came to see the doctor here, and he gave him some pills. He told my boy that they'd keep him out of the army.
Was he about to be drafted?
Yes.
Did he take the pills?
Oh, no, I wouldn't let him.
You were very wise.
I came here today to find out what that doctor was up to.
Have you ever seen him?
No.
Did your son describe him?
No, but I guess he could.
I think we could have the doctor investigated for you, Mrs.
Scott. Are you from the police?
We can notify them for you, Mrs. Scott. Now, would you just write down your address?
Oh, surely.
Here's pencil.
Thanks.
Someone will call around and have a talk with your son.
Oh, this won't get him in trouble.
No. Well, that is if he doesn't take those pills.
Well, I'll certainly take care of that right now. I'll go home this very minute, and thanks, both of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Scott.
What do we do now?
The doctor must have just stepped out for a moment, so we just wait.
That you, Cora?
Yes,
I thought you were going to stay in the office this afternoon.
I had company.
Who?
2 very inquisitive gentlemen. They had to be from the law.
What do they want?
They were looking for Dr. Woodbury.
How do you know?
They told me.
What is this?
I went down the hall for a minute. When I came back, they were waiting in my office.
Didn't they tumble?
No.
Why not?
I told them I was just a visitor myself. I said I'd come to see the doctor about my son.
Did they buy it?
Of course. They're probably still waiting for the doctor.
Well, that's that.
What do you mean?
Looks like we got to find a new touch.
Why?
I ain't putting my neck out. By the time this time they've got a full description of me, the racket, and how it operates. You must have tailed that kid who picked up the letter.
Yes.
It ain't going to take them too long to find out that you're Dr. Woodbury.
But that doesn't put us out of business. All we do is change names and locations.
Now, wait a minute, honey.
Now, look. They stopped calling older men in the draft. They're concentrating on youngsters. That makes it just perfect for us.
We can't peddle them pills anymore. The FBI will take care of that.
I can make other things besides pills. Now let's pack, honey. We'll find a new location, new suckers, and start all over again.
We momentarily close the Federal Bureau of Investigation file on draft dodgers. We'll return to this case in just a moment. In ancient Rome, when Julius Caesar spoke of his allies, the word he used was socii, spelled S-O-C-I-I. In our language, socii survives in the word society. So when you get down to its roots, society means a group of allies. Well, you couldn't find a better description of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. This society is a group of allies. Every member of the Equitable Society has 3,200,000 allies. They're his fellow members who have pooled their dollars to protect each other. They have united, freely and voluntarily, to build greater financial security for themselves and their families. The money that they entrust to their society is always usefully employed. Equitable Society funds help farmers raise food, help families build their own homes, help keep the wheels of business turning. By serving its members, the Equitable Society serves America. And now, back to the file on draft dodgers.
The element of surprise is as important to FBI agents working on a case as it is to generals fighting a war. Complete victory may not be won by surprise, but the enemy is invariably weakened seriously. The mythical Dr. Woodbury was not trapped by the unexpected appearance of FBI agents in her office, but she was forced to move fast, forced to run, forced to leave conclusive proof of her medical work. After obtaining a search warrant, the special agents found that proof in a cabinet in the office. Found it in the form of dozens of white boxes carefully inscribed, "Take one pill every 6 hours." They took the boxes to the FBI laboratory.
You busy, Morgan?
No. Come on in, Perry.
I've just gotten a report from the laboratory on that batch of pills we found in Dr. Woodbury's office.
Same story?
Yes, more or less. They found that the ingredients varied in each pill. It's a good thing some of them didn't get into circulation.
Bad as that?
A couple were powerful enough to kill a horse.
Nice business.
Yes. Did you get anything more on Dr. Woodbury?
Just completed a check.
What's the story?
That office was rented 2 months ago. The real estate agent said the lease was signed by a woman.
Who was she?
Dr. Woodbury.
What?
That's who she claimed to be. I've checked with the medical association. They have no record of it. Excuse me. Morgan speaking. Yes. Yes, wait a minute. Let me check that address again. Perry, would you hand me that paper there?
Yeah, surely. Here you go.
Thanks. It's Mrs. Scott, 217 Fairview Avenue. Is that check? I see. Thanks. Goodbye. That Scott woman, the one we met in the doctor's office, gave us a fictitious address.
Well,
Wait a minute.
what are you looking for?
One of the pill boxes we found in the doctor's office. Oh, here we are. Terry, take a look at her handwriting.
Yes.
Now compare it with this handwriting on the box. Take one pill every 6 hours.
I'd say they match.
And I'd say we were fooled, completely fooled.
Yes.
Just to be sure, let's get a comparison on this from the laboratory.
It was simple for the laboratory to confirm what the agents had suspected. Mrs. Scott had written the directions on the boxes of pills. Mrs. Scott was Dr. Woodbury. But Mrs. Scott had disappeared, and although a description was sent out, there was no trace of her for 2 days. And then at 3:30 on a bright sunny afternoon, a trace of Mrs. Scott's work appeared. In a nearby city, a small coupe was driving along a street. An empty street, a street clean of traffic, of people except one policeman. A street a car should have no trouble driving down. A street with high stone buildings on either side.
Are you all right there? Are you all right? Are you okay, mister?
My eyes. My eyes.
Did you get glass in them?
No. Let me get out, will you?
Wait a minute. You should have some broken bones, White.
I don't think I have. I seem to be able to move everything all right.
Well, then let me give you a hand here.
Thank you.
Here. Take it easy now. Easy does it. There we are. That's it. You sure you're okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
I watched you coming across that viaduct. When you got to this end, you started driving in circles.
I know.
Have you been drinking, mister?
No.
And what happened? No one cut you off. In fact, there was no traffic coming at you at all.
I know.
Well, did something go wrong with the car?
No, sir. It was just my eyes.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me have a look at them. They're all red and inflamed.
They hurt so I can barely see.
Look, are you sure you haven't been drinking?
Of course not. I've been taking a physical at the pre-induction center all day.
At the police station, something was found on the man who had been in that accident. Something that made the local police contact the FBI. That something was a small box containing a bottle of homemade eye drops.
The laboratory analyzed the ingredients in the bottle.
What's the story?
Well, it looks like something a kid might put together with a homemade chemistry set.
Oh.
Quite a mixture.
Could it simulate an inflammation of the eyes?
According to the report, the man stands a good chance of being permanently blinded.
I see.
That box the bottle of eye drops came in.
Yes?
Something had been blocked out on the cover.
I noticed that.
The laboratory worked it up and found some handwriting underneath.
What did it say?
Wait, I have a report on it here someplace. Oh, yes. Here it is. Read it.
Take one pill every 6 hours.
Now the FBI knew Mrs. Scott was working again and had simply changed her product and shifted her operations to another city. But where was she? They knew she and her partner, Ralph Butler, had only been in the city 2 days. Knew they couldn't have had time to get either an apartment or an office. Knew that they must be staying in a hotel. So the agents began checking the hotels, went to one after another with a description of Mrs. Scott and Ralph Butler. Went carefully down the list until at last they found a small, shabby apartment hotel which had recently rented a room to a couple answering the description. But the FBI didn't count on the description alone. They compared the woman's signature on the hotel ledger with the handwriting of the woman they were looking for. Then they were sure. Then they knew. They had found Mrs. Scott.
Ralph. Ralph! You gonna sleep all day?
Well, look, I've done my work.
You were out for exactly 3 hours this morning.
Sure, but I set up some real good contacts.
Like what?
Well, I made a connection with a guy who owns a candy store right across the street from the local high school.
Well?
He's a real larceny bum. He's going to handle our business.
For the kids in the school?
Yeah.
So that makes you an executive now, is that it?
Well, he can talk to them punks better than I can.
That's only one contact. There's still work for you to do.
Look, if I hustle around, we'll wind up in the same jam we got in before.
Not if you watch your step. Now, come on. Get up.
Okay.
I want you to run out the store for me.
What for?
I need some more powder.
I thought you sent the bellhop out for that.
I asked him to go an hour ago, and he said he'd get it when he had time. That could take all day.
What are you making now?
Oh, I'm just fooling around with something.
What is it?
I'm trying to put together something that'll work on a man's nervous system.
Let's see.
You remember that quack I used to work for out in Cleveland?
Yeah?
Well, he had some stuff that'd make a man shake all over like he had St. Vitus dance or something. Trying to remember how he did it.
Look, why don't you just stay with the stuff for the eye?
You gotta keep switching them around. That's what keeps us out in front.
Who's that?
Probably that bellhop.
Oh, good. Saved me a trip.
Let him in, will you?
Okay. Yes?
Here's them powders.
Oh, thanks.
Just a minute, Mr. Butler. We want to talk to you.
Who are you?
We're special agents of the FBI.
Cora.
I heard them.
Is this your son, Mrs. Scott?
No.
You know why we're here.
Yes.
Want to pay for the powder, lady?
No. We won't be needing it.
In times like these, there is little difference between a spy and a criminal who aids draft dodgers. Because both are fighting this war not for us, but for the enemy. To the FBI, there is no difference between a spy and a criminal who aids draft dodgers, because both are violating the laws of our government. Both are a threat to the nation, and both must be caught. A spy case may be more sensational, may get more space in the newspapers, but the FBI devotes as much time, as much resource, as much energy to a lesser case if necessary. Because every federal case is a case against the people of this entire country. And the FBI is a protector of the people.
You'll hear about the file on next week's case in just a moment. Will you join the Equitable Society in a salute? A salute to the turning wheels, to the giant driver wheels of the 43,000 locomotives on the railroads of America. To these railroads, all of us owe a debt of gratitude. By meeting every wartime demand, by transporting 4 times as many passengers and more than twice as much freight as in 1939, the railroads have helped prove once again that American ingenuity, American organizing ability, and the American system of free enterprise are equal to any emergency. For many years, funds of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States have been working on the railroads. Equitable Society dollars helped finance some of the early transcontinental lines. Today, $368 million of Equitable Society funds are helping America's railroads to do the magnificent job of transporting men and munitions of war to the right place at the right time. Millions of other Equitable Society dollars go into other war industries and into war bonds. In wartime, Equitable Society dollars are fighting dollars. And at all times, they are security dollars. For you, your home, and your country. Next week, a crime against the community. Bank robbery. The incidents used in tonight's broadcast are taken from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Tonight, the music was composed and directed by Van Cleve. Your narrator was Frank Lovejoy. This is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. Now, this is Carl Frank speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time for This is Your FBI.
This is the Blue Network of the American Broadcasting Company.
This is Your FBI. This is your FBI, an official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. To your FBI, you look for national security, and to the Equitable Society for financial security. These two great institutions are dedicated to the protection of you, your home, and your country. Tonight, the story of a crime against the community, bank robbery.
A man walks into a bank, holds up a teller, and walks out a few minutes later with thousands of dollars. How was he finally caught? How was he traced? What is the clue to his identity? The answer seems easy. The teller could describe him, that's true, but until 1934, there were about 600 bank robberies every year, most of them successful. Last year, there were 37, most of them unsuccessful. What brought about the change? The explanation that in 1934 Congress gave the FBI jurisdiction over certain banks is not enough. The main clue to work on is still the same, the robber's description. The real explanation lies in the FBI itself, in its organization, in its coverage, in its methods of following up a description, of tracing bank robbers, of hunting down, for example, the two men who began plotting a bank robbery in a small rooming house in a Midwestern city a few months ago.
Hi, Artie.
Oh, hi, Phil.
What time is it?
2 o'clock?
Was I sleeping that long?
Yep.
Who are you riding with?
Nora.
Oh.
Told her I'd hit Cincinnati around the 20th.
Uh-huh.
That'll be the blow-off for us then, kid.
Really gonna marry her, huh?
Yep.
Then what?
Then I lay off for a couple of years.
That's for squares.
So I want it.
Where are you gonna take her?
Got a spot all picked out, kid. Up in Minnesota. Nothing to do all day but fish and hunt.
Yeah. Just cigarettes.
On the table.
She know about you and larceny?
Nope. And she ain't gonna.
Hey, what's in this box?
Look out for that.
Huh?
Handle it real easy. It's loaded with dynamite.
Real dynamite?
Yep. I've been working on it all morning.
What for?
It's Betsy.
What?
She's gonna go with us on the bank job tomorrow.
I don't get it. You figuring on blowing the joint up?
Nope. She just makes the job easier.
Look, Artie.
Let me give you the setup. We take Betsy into the bank with us.
Uh-huh.
I hand one of the tellers a note.
Yeah?
The note says if he don't hand over all his cash, Betsy will go off in his kisses.
And you go with it?
No. He ain't that brave. He hands over the cash.
Look, what's the matter with using a gun?
That's for kids. This makes it a nice, quiet, clean operation.
Oh, wait a minute. I ain't gonna...
Phil, that's how we're gonna do it, see?
Artie.
Yeah?
Special accounts window is free now.
Uh-huh.
We can still do it the other way.
No, just stand by, kid. This'll be a cinch.
Help you, mister?
No, thanks.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Are you making a withdrawal?
Yeah.
Well, may I have your passbook, please?
I don't think you'll need it.
I beg your pardon?
Just read this note.
What?
Read it.
If this is some sort of a joke...
It's no joke, mister. Don't try any funny stuff.
I wasn't going to.
Betsy here wouldn't like it. She could go off real easy. Well?
How much do you want?
Everything you've got.
Singles, too?
Everything. Use that money bag there.
Yes, sir.
Hurry up.
That thing won't go off by itself, will it?
It might. Just keep on moving.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget them 20s.
I was just putting them in. There, that's all the currency. Do you want the silver, too?
No. Just give me the bag.
Yes, sir.
Remember what the note said about not giving any alarm.
I know.
You better let me have that note.
Oh, of course. Here.
Thanks. So long, chum.
What is the next step in the holdup of a bank? What do the criminals do next? In this case, they stopped a taxi, drove to the downtown section of the city, and rushed into a busy, crowded department store. That took 15 minutes. Long enough for the bank to notify the local police and the FBI. Long enough for the teller to give a description of the robber. Long enough for both robbers to have disappeared before the FBI and the police could throw a cordon around the department store. 15 minutes and the trail was cold except for a description of the man. But for the agents of the FBI, that was a beginning. That was a lead. That was a clue which would lead to other clues sooner or later.
Busy, Jim?
No. Come in, Ray.
Thanks.
Any further developments?
No. No trace of either one of them.
Well, they probably went in one door of that department store, not another.
Yes.
Did you get a description of that second man?
Not a very good one. The teller gave us a detailed picture of the first one, though.
The one with the dynamite?
Yes.
Was it given to the police?
Yes, they're sending out a general alarm.
Good. Fowler speaking? Oh, yes, Sergeant. Yes. Yes, go ahead. Want to take this down, Ray?
Sure.
Black Chevrolet sedan. 4-door? 2-door.
Got it.
1940 model. Illinois license plate Y235.
Y235.
Stolen from employee's parking lot. Where? Behind the Federal Building. Thanks, Sergeant. We'll put that on the teletype right away. That might be the getaway car, Ray.
The Federal Building is in the same block as that department store.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like we've got work to do.
Now there are two descriptions. The description of a man and the description of a car. Now there is more to work on. Now the trail picks up again. But what of the bank robbers? If they have planned this crime well, they know that the stolen car will be reported, will be watched for, will lead to their capture. What do? They keep off the main highways, keep clear of the state roads, keep driving swiftly along lonely, unused back roads.
Artie.
Yeah?
Do me a favor, huh?
What?
Get rid of that box, will you?
Betsy?
Yeah.
What for?
Well, you done what you wanted with it.
I know. I just feel better having her around.
What's the matter?
I don't know.
Oh, great.
Take it easy.
No dice, huh?
No gas. Look at the needle. Empty.
Ah.
Now, don't get excited, Phil. This is no problem. One car goes dead on you, so you pick up another one.
Where?
What's wrong with that one up ahead there? Just coming around the bend.
Hey.
Come on, let's hop out quick.
What do we do?
Flag him down.
I mean, how do we grab the car?
Just tell him we want it, that's all.
Look, you're not going to use that Betsy routine.
Why not?
Takes too long. I got a better idea.
Well, put that gun away, will you? Give him a wave. I'll go get Betsy. All right, flag him down, will you?
Okay.
What's the matter?
Our car ain't running.
Oh.
Looks like we got to borrow yours.
Huh?
Pile out, mister.
Oh, no.
I told you to wait till I got Betsy.
We got the car, didn't we?
When the FBI works on a case, it does not work alone. It has the cooperation of the local police in the city, in the surrounding counties, and the whole state if necessary. It was a local policeman who found the wounded man and telephoned in his report. Immediately, the special agents checked the engine number of the abandoned car, checked on the man who was shot, found that he had a car, and broadcast a description of it. It wasn't long before that broadcast got results.
Fowler speaking.
Hello, Jim.
Ray?
Yes. We've traced our men across the line into Missouri.
Are you sure?
Positive. They held up a farm family in Monticello, took some food from them, and stole their car.
How about the car belonging to the man who was shot?
They abandoned that. The sheriff who reported it checked the motor number.
I see.
How badly was that man wounded?
I think he'll pull through.
I hope so.
Ray,
Yes?
what's the dope on this latest car they took?
1938 Ford. We've got all details on it. An alarm has been sent out.
Good.
Another small lead.
Hmm?
This farm family heard the two men quarreling. They talked of splitting up.
In that case, one of them would leave the car.
Yes.
Well, let's send their descriptions to every bus depot, airfield, and railway terminal in, let's see, Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois. That ought to cover it.
The more stops a criminal makes in his flight, the more perfect is the description he leaves behind him. When the bank robbers held up the Missouri farmer, they indirectly presented the FBI with a portrait of themselves. Now the special agents knew what both men looked like, and that knowledge was broadcast throughout the whole region. That's why when a short, dark man of 35 with several moles on the right side of his face boarded an eastbound bus at Fairchild, Iowa, the local police who received the report from the station notified the FBI. The agents immediately checked the schedules, found where the bus would stop next, found when it would stop, and found that they could get there ahead of time.
This is a 5-minute stop. 5 minutes only.
They're starting to get off, Jim.
Yeah. The bus is pretty crowded.
We want to do this as quietly as possible.
I know.
Jim.
I see him. Come on. Just a minute, sir. We'd like to talk to you, please.
What for? Just step over here.
What is this? We're special agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Ah, you might be able to help us.
Well, I will if I can. We're looking for two men who held up a bank on Saturday. Later that day, the same two men shot a farmer over in Easton County. They stole his car.
So?
The farmer they shot is still in the hospital. Would you mind letting him look you over?
Don't bother. He'd know me. Never mind the frisk. I'm clean.
How about money?
From the job?
Yes.
I got my cut.
What's your name?
Bardo, Phil Bardo.
Where's your partner?
I don't know. We split up the other side of Fairchild.
What was his name?
Told me it was Artie Clinton.
Where was he headed?
He was going to see a dame in Cincinnati.
Where in Cincinnati?
I don't know.
What about that dynamite gadget?
You mean Betsy?
Betsy?
That's what he called it.
Oh.
He kept that with him, which was okay with me.
Well, Jim, at least we can tell Washington headquarters that one of them is in custody.
Yes. But Arthur Clinton and Betsy are still at large. That means this case is still pure dynamite.
We momentarily close the Federal Bureau of Investigation file on Arthur Clinton, bank robber. We'll return to this case in just a moment. Tonight, we'd like to introduce two widely separated members of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States to each other and to you. Mr. Litton, we'd like you to know Helen McGrath. And Helen, we want you to meet Mr. Henry C. Litton, president of the Hub, Henry C. Litton and Company of Chicago, Illinois. Having attained the remarkable age of 98 years, Mr. Litton ranks as a senior member of the Equitable Society. Helen is one of our youngest and newest members. Yesterday, she was 4 months old. Mr. Litton, when you became an Equitable member in the year 1861, the Society was facing its first great crisis, the financial difficulties brought on by the Civil War. Since then, the Equitable Society has continued to grow and expand through 3 more wars and 7 major depressions. And so, Mr. Litton, after your 73 years' experience with the Equitable Society, we think you could tell little Helen McGrath that her father showed excellent judgment in making her a member of this society. You can assure her also that as long as she lives, the funds of her society will be put to work in many different ways that will benefit her and her family. Equitable dollars are invested in the farms that help feed her and in industries which provide jobs for her father and millions of other fathers. By serving its members, old and new, the Equitable Society serves America. And now back to the file on Arthur Clinton, bank robber.
Almost every criminal has a great sense of loyalty and equality. His loyalty is to himself, and his belief in equality is a belief that if he's caught, his partner should be caught. Philip Bardo told the special agents of the FBI everything he could about his partner. Told them his name was Arthur Clinton, told them he was going to Cincinnati, and told them that he was going there to marry a girl. That was a clue, but Cincinnati is hardly a small town. And like every town these days, the majority of its population is women. Still, it was a clue. A clue to be followed while other agents investigated Arthur Clinton. A clue that later on turned out to be accurate. For Arthur Clinton was in Cincinnati, had married a girl there, and was living with her in a quiet hotel.
Me, honey. Howdy.
Oh,
Hello, baby.
hello, darling.
How you coming with your packing?
I'm afraid I haven't made much progress.
I brought the car on, honey. It's downstairs.
Oh, I'll hurry then. Aunt Mary phoned.
Yeah?
She kept me talking for almost half an hour.
What you want?
Oh, you know. Why was I going away? Why didn't we have a church wedding?
What'd you tell her?
I said we were married by a justice of the peace because that was the way we wanted it.
Atta girl. Can I get those dresses out for you?
Oh, thanks. She wanted to know all about you.
Yeah? You tell her?
Well, just about 10 minutes worth. I said you were wonderful, that I was very happy.
Suppose she wanted to know where we were going on our honeymoon?
Of course. I just said we didn't know. We were going to get in the car and travel.
Yeah. Get some dresses, honey.
Oh, put them on the bed, will you, dear?
Okay.
You can close that bag there.
Sure.
You know, Aunt Mary really is very sweet, but she still thinks that I'm about 12 years old. She doesn't want us to go away at all.
Why not?
Oh, on account of my painting, mostly. She thinks I should stay here in Cincinnati and study.
Did you tell her you were going to take your paints along with you?
Yes. I said I'd get more work done that way than ever.
There. Now then. Anything else I can do?
No. No, I think I'm just about ready, dear.
Okay, honey.
Oh, well, would you put these shoes in your bag?
Yeah, sure.
You know, I didn't realize how much...
Oh, look out, honey.
Huh?
Don't touch that little box. Just put the shoes on the other side, huh?
Oh, all right. What's in it?
The box?
Yes.
Nothing really. It's just kind of a good luck thing I carry around.
Oh. Well, I'm all packed.
The description of a criminal can sometimes lead to his capture. But the chances are better if that description can be checked against something else. The FBI had something else, the fingerprints that Arthur Clinton had left on the abandoned cars. The prints checked were those of a man who had been arrested 4 years back in Jackson, Mississippi. The name was different, but the description was the same. The trail was easier to follow now. It was smoother, and it led straight to Cincinnati. To a marriage bureau, to the family of the girl Clinton had married. But after that, once again, the trail stopped dead.
Well, let's see what we have here now, Ray.
Well, there's the description of Clinton.
Yes?
Description of the girl.
Yes.
Also some data on the second-hand car he bought in Cincinnati.
This girl knows nothing about Clinton's background.
Not a thing. Her family was quite shocked when they heard about him.
Too bad.
He had told them that he had his own business out west, that a relative had died and left him money. That's how they could afford this long honeymoon.
Has the family had any word from them?
One postcard, mailed from Chicago. I have it here.
No indication where they were going.
No. They appear to be heading west, though.
This car must have Ohio license plates.
They went out on the teletype, but Clinton's probably changed them by now.
Yes.
One possible lead is the girl's interest in painting.
Oh?
She studied art for a number of years. In fact, she sold 1 or 2 watercolors to some local dealers.
I see.
Her family said she brought her equipment, paints, canvases, along with her.
That could be a very good lead, Ray. By the way, did you see this?
A wanted notice on Clinton.
Yes. Mr. Hoover ordered that for national distribution.
In cities, in towns, in villages, wanted notices for Arthur Clinton appeared, and local police were on the lookout. But the FBI did not stop there. At the same time, special agents went to every art material store in the region and left photographs. 2 photographs, one of Clinton and one of his wife. Then there was nothing to do but wait. Wait for what had to happen sooner or later. Wait for what finally happened in Duluth, Minnesota.
Can I help you, ma'am?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I wanted to look at some brushes, please.
Sure. There's a whole trayful right here.
Oh, thank you.
That's a new shipment. Just came in.
Yes, I see.
I can't say that they're too good.
Do you sell paintings?
Well, that's not my regular line,
Well, I have some watercolors here. I did them myself.
Let's have a
I
look
don't
at
know.
them.
Well, surely. Let's see now. There's just the 2 of them. Landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I have a camp up in the lake country, and these are local sketches.
Mm-hmm. Well, not bad.
Well, I've sold several canvases back home in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
Mm-hmm. Would you be interested in them? I don't care about the money. It's just the selling of them. That's very satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you leave them here, and I could handle them for you on a commission basis.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Where do you live?
Well, we're buried up in the woods right now. I'll just drop in here from time to time, see if you've had any luck with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take these 3 brushes.
That'll be $3.
Very well. Here you are.
Thanks. Can I wrap them up?
No, thank you. I'll just put them in my bag. I should be in again by the 1st of the month.
Mm-hmm. Hope I sell them for you.
Oh, thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Cincinnati. Hey, miss! Miss! Oh. Operator, get me FBI headquarters.
And you positively identify this photograph, Mr. Weymouth?
Yes, that's the girl, all right. Oh, what a fool I was.
Her signature is on both these landscapes, Jim.
I let her walk right out of here.
Did she say she'd return?
Yes, she said she'd drop in.
I don't think we can wait for that.
Gentlemen, I wish that there was some way...
Mr. Weymouth.
Yes?
These landscapes. Where did she say she'd painted them?
Why, right up near their camp.
Are you familiar with the country around here?
Of course, I know every inch of it. That's what makes me so mad. If she told me where that camp was...
I think she has.
Huh?
If these scenes are near her camp, you should be able to recognize them, right?
Say, I never thought of that.
Do they look familiar to you, Mr. Weymouth?
Let me look at them again.
Surely. Here.
Say, I believe I do know this spot.
Yes?
She's changed it around some, but that's Hibbins Lake.
Where's that?
It's about 40 miles north of here.
Could you take us there?
Be glad to. When?
Right now.
Well, this is the day, honey. This is the day I nail that pike.
Say, he's really got you going.
Oh, look,
hasn't he?
baby. If you spend as much time as I have watching that guy flirt all around the hook.
But, darling, aren't there other pikes?
Sure there are. But this one is Big Casino.
Well, I wish you luck.
You want to come out in the boat with me?
No.
Huh?
I want to finish that watercolor of the hills.
How's it coming?
Oh, I've changed it about 4 times.
You'll be running out of paint.
Practically.
I'll leave the car here, sweetheart. We can walk down to the lake.
All right.
I'll get your stuff out of the back.
Thanks. Oh, what a lovely day.
All right, Clinton.
Huh?
Just keep your hands where we can see them.
Arthur.
Don't be alarmed, miss.
Who are you?
Special agents of the FBI.
FBI?
Nora, hand me that box.
Of course.
Wait. Would That be Betsy?
Yeah. Never mind, honey.
The trail of a bank robber begins with a description, continues on with a stolen car, leaps across state lines, and ends finally with capture and arrest. Along that trail are clues, good and bad, big and small, right and wrong. The agents of the FBI follow them all. That thoroughness is a great factor in its success. But there is another, a vitally important factor that must never be forgotten. It's in every region, every area, every section of this country. Local policeman, sheriff, and deputy in the entire nation. That cooperation is invaluable. And it extends beyond to the cooperation of every loyal citizen of this country. That is a formidable opposition. That's a defense to stand up against any criminal. That's a protection which could only be found in a country where the people not only make the law, but are the law.
You'll hear about the file on next week's case in just a moment. Will you join the Equitable Society in a salute? A salute to the man on the tractor and to all men who plow the good American earth. Yes, a heartfelt salute to the farmers of these United States. In spite of manpower losses, our hard-working farmers have managed to increase this country's food production by more than 1/3. Authorities in England and Russia say that the war might easily have been lost without this extra food raised by America. Today, as it has for many years, the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States is lending the farmer a helping hand. Equitable funds make it possible for thousands of farmers to own their own homes and lands and realize that typical American ambition summed up in the words, I want to run my own business. In addition to helping to raise the food that fights for freedom, Equitable funds are heavily invested in other industries which make and transport the weapons of war. Still, other Equitable dollars are invested in war bonds. For in wartime, Equitable Society dollars are fighting dollars. And at all times, they are security dollars. For you, your home, and your country. Next week, a crime against the nation. Espionage. The incidents used in tonight's broadcast are taken from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious. Any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Artie Clinton was played by Mandel Kramer. The music was composed and directed by Van Cleve. Your narrator was Frank Lovejoy. This is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. Now, this is Carl Frank speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time for This is Your FBI. This is the Blue Network of the American Broadcasting Company. This is Your FBI. This is Your FBI, an official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. To your FBI, you look for national security, and to the Equitable Society for financial security. These two great institutions are dedicated to the protection of you, your home, and your country. Tonight, the story of a crime against our nation. Espionage.
(1939). That year, the continent of Europe already echoed the cries of people under aggression. On the continent of Asia, far beyond our western shores, was Japan. A dedicated nation, a dedicated people, dedicated to war upon the United States. But we did not know this yet. Within our western gates were more Japs, thousands of them. Were they dedicated to being good American citizens, or were there among them some dedicated to our destruction? Here was a vital task for the FBI. The safety and security of America might depend on what they found out. A Sunday afternoon in 1939, two FBI agents from the San Francisco office stood on a pier at the San Francisco waterfront watching a Japanese cruiser warp into the dock.
How big would you figure that crowd, Jim?
Oh, I'd say, at least 1,000.
Pretty excited for Japs, aren't they?
Well, this is a big day for them, Larry. It isn't often they get a chance to pay their respects to a big shot from Japan.
I know.
Larry, is this Prince Suji a member of the royal family?
Yes.
They sure are giving him the Sunday bows, all right.
Funny how they conform to that caste system of theirs. That first line that shook hands with the prince were all top bracket boys.
I know, I've checked them off. Japanese Consul General, head of the Jap Association, leaders of the prefectural groups. Second line was a middle bracket bunch, bankers, nip businessmen.
All they got from the good prince was a nod.
Well, that's more than the small fry are getting now. There's housewives and farmers.
They bow, and the prince doesn't even acknowledge their presence. Say, look at that bull-necked little man in the chauffeur's uniform.
What about it?
You notice something? He's not cringing or bowing. He's standing in line with his head up and shoulders back like a soldier.
Oh, yes.
Hey, did you see that?
Yes.
The prince bowed to him.
I know.
I don't like that, Jim. They don't play it that way in their league. Princes don't go around bowing to chauffeurs.
Unless our chauffeur is a big shot back in Japan.
Yes. That's something you and I better check on.
One Jap bowing to another Jap. A pair of striped pants and cutaway coat bowing to a chauffeur's uniform. The two FBI agents, troubled by what they saw, investigated and learned the chauffeur's name and background. Then they took their information to the agent in charge of the San Francisco office of the FBI.
That's the story, Mr. Walker.
A prince bowing to a chauffeur. That is unusual.
Yes.
Did you follow this man?
Yes, sir. He lives at the Osaka Hotel.
His name?
Yasu Kajioka.
Did you learn anything about his work?
Yes, he drives a big Cadillac. He owns it. He runs some sort of escort service with headquarters at the hotel.
Anything else on him?
We found out that he's been a very active worker for many of the local Japanese associations.
Well, I think we should do a thorough check on Mr. Kajioka's activities.
Won't be too easy. We could use some help.
From whom?
Someone of his own race. A Japanese who is loyal to us.
Well, we might try the university. They have quite a few Japanese-American students there.
That's a good idea.
Suppose I arrange with the Dean of Studies out there for you to have a talk with him.
Fine.
I'll get him on the phone right now.
The two FBI agents spent almost an entire day with the Dean of Studies of the university. They pored over the personal records of many Japanese-American students and finally narrowed down their choice to one man, a student by the name of Tom Tanaka. His record showed he lived in the same neighborhood as the Jap chauffeur.
Gentlemen, have you reached a decision?
Yes, sir. This man, Tom Tanaka, looks good to us.
Well, I think you've made an excellent choice.
He lives in the same neighborhood as the man we want watched. If he measures up in other ways, that's a definite plus.
I understand.
You realize, sir, how important it is to us that we be able to trust this boy implicitly?
Yes, I do.
We've got to know if he's loyal, if he's a real American at heart, if he thinks and acts like an American.
There are thousands of men and women who live here on the West Coast, Mr. Schuyler, who look Japanese and are the sons and daughters of Japanese. But I know them as true Americans.
They're as loyal as any of us whose ancestors were German, English, French, Irish, or whatever. I say that this boy is an American, just as you or I.
Good. Can we meet him at once?
Tom, I imagine your dean has told you that we're special agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, sir. He has.
We've selected you, son, from the list of the entire enrollment of Japanese Americans here at the university.
As a student?
No. No, as an American.
Well, what about it? I am an American.
We believe you are, in every sense of the word.
Has somebody been talking about me?
No.
Then what's this all about, sir?
Tom, we want you to help us.
How?
In a very important, perhaps very dangerous way.
You want me to work with the FBI?
Yes.
Do you know a man called Kajioka? Yasu Kajioka?
Oh, yes, we're neighbors. I helped him compose letters in English. Several times.
Good. Well, do you remember you?
I think so. He said once that he might give me a job doing secretarial work in my spare time. Why do you ask me about Kajioka?
We need a loyal Japanese American like yourself to help us investigate this man. We want to know if he is connected with any un-American activities.
What do you want me to do?
Help us to get information. Tom, all we want are facts.
I see.
You said that you know Kajioka. That he offered you a job once. We want you to go to him. Take the job.
We're giving you the opportunity to do this as an American, Tom.
Well, what would I say to Kajioka? How would I ask for the job?
You'd tell him that you're in need of money to finish your studies. If he hired you, you'd undertake at once to impress him with your love of Japan and the Japanese.
We don't want you to put your life in danger. You'd be cautious, never inquisitive.
What do you say, son?
I'll do it.
No. What do you want, young man?
I want to talk to you, Mr. Kajioka.
What about, please?
A job.
Why?
To earn some money.
Why do you come to me, lowly chauffeur, if you need money?
You told me someday you might give me a job.
Oh, yes. Why you want to earn money?
To keep up my studies.
You got father, mother.
I don't want to ask them.
So, but you ask lowly chauffeur. Why?
Everyone says good things of Kajioka.
Oh, good. You hear perhaps I visit cruiser.
They say Kajioka was greatly honored.
Oh, so, they say correctly. Please, you sit down.
Thank you.
Now, how you think?
What do you mean?
It could be important for me to know.
I think Japanese.
Oh, so. And what are those thoughts, please?
I love my people. I love Japan.
So, I think maybe you lie.
Why should I? Who can read my thoughts?
Oh, very, very good. Yes.
Will you give me a job?
Yes. You work for me now. Come every day. I'll try to read your thoughts. Very good. Very good. Yeah.
Once the all-important inside contact had been made, many FBI agents took up the trail. They learned that Kajioka always drove Japs who were easily identified as high-ranking naval officers on vacation. They learned that he was the head of a secret Jap organization on the West Coast, the Hamushikai, boasting over 10,000 members, all eligible for military service in Japan. The society masked itself as a charitable one. Charity in the sense that thousands and thousands of dollars were drafted from the members and sent back to Japan. Why? The answer came quickly and dramatically. One night on a street corner, young Tom Tanaka reported to the special agents of the FBI.
Tom.
Yes, sir.
Here we are.
I haven't much time, sir. I've got to get back.
What have you got, son?
Something big is cooking.
There's a great meeting called in the basement of the Japanese high school for tonight. Kajoka will make an appeal to get more funds to send back to Japan.
I see.
Also, they are to show preparedness movies sent over from Japan.
Are you supposed to attend this meeting?
Yes. Kajoka will expect it.
Tom.
Yes, sir.
We need a list of the members in that organization. Practically everything depends on our getting it. Do you think you could go to the meeting, get the list, and get away alive?
Yes. The pictures may go on about 8 o'clock. I'll try and sneak out and meet you here then.
Good boy.
Good luck. We'll be waiting.
We momentarily closed the Federal Bureau of Investigation file on Kajioka, enemy alien. We will reopen this file in just a moment. Yesterday, Thomas I. Parkinson, president of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States, received an interesting letter. It was from a member of the Equitable Society, and it read, Mr. Parkinson, just how many businesses is the Equitable Society in, anyway? Our radio program talks about millions of equitable dollars invested in war bonds, and more millions in key war industries like shipyards and railroads, in oil, steel, and aluminum. Friends tell me how the Equitable Society helps keep kids in school and helps people own their own homes and farms. It all sounds mighty complex to me. Yes, investing the premium dollars of 3,200,000 members of the Equitable Society is of necessity a very complicated operation. For safety's sake, those equitable funds have to be spread out widely, must go into thousands of different enterprises. And yet all this is done to make it easy and simple for Equitable Society members to attain greater security for themselves and their loved ones. And so, you see, by employing its funds in all kinds of activities that are useful to the nation as a whole, the Equitable Society is able to offer sounder and safer protection to its members than any one member could achieve by his own unaided efforts. By serving its members, the Equitable Society serves America. And now, back to the file on Kajioka, enemy alien.
$1939. In that year, there wasn't even a slight buzzing in our ears to warn us that enemy planes were warming up for an attack. There was nothing in the word protocol to make us think of anything but where the wife of some ambassador might have to sit at some state dinner. Yet 2 men of the FBI, standing on a dock at San Francisco, had seen in a bit of Jap protocol enough to make their blood run cold. Enough to make them, on their own initiative as Americans, set up a series of patient, exhaustive, dangerous investigations which inched down 1939 through 1940 and brought them on the evening of February 3rd, 1941, to stand tense in a darkened hallway near a high school in the Jap section of San Francisco.
Watch it, Jim. Don't let that street light hit you.
I've counted about 2,000 have gone into that meeting so far.
Still coming. Kajioka sure must have passed the word along. What time is it?
Almost 7:45.
Looks like the meeting is getting started.
Somebody coming along to see the channel.
Pull back here.
It's Tom.
Tom, here. Oh, hello. We've got a wonderful break. Kajioka forgot to bring the records. He wants me to go to his house and get them and bring them to the meeting.
What part of the meeting is on now?
They're going to run off the movies.
How long will that take?
Until about 9:15.
Good. I'll go with you. Get the records. Bring them to the FBI office. We'll have them photographed and back in your hands by 9 o'clock.
Can you do it that soon?
We've got to. Jim.
Yes?
You stay here. Call the office. Tell them what we have to do. Ask for the entire staff to stand by.
Right.
I'll drive Tom over.
It's going to be tight going.
I know. But this is the first break we've gotten, and it may be the only one. Let's go.
While the movies whipped the Japanese audience up with blatant pictures of Japan's armed might, while distinguished visitors sat rigidly straight in the front rows, their cropped heads marking them high officers of the Emperor's Army and Navy, while almost 3,000 sons of Nippon shared a new sense of oneness, of dedication to Emperor and country, an alerted FBI office, brilliant with lights, crowded with 100% staff, worked feverishly to photograph the secret documents and make the deadline.
I don't think we can wait any longer, Mr. Logan. It's 8:54.
I know.
I've got to be back to the hall before the lights are turned up.
We'll make it.
1 minute to deadline. How are you coming?
2 more sheets. The others are finished.
Come on, men. Hurry it up.
Please, you've got to give me the originals. I can't wait. The movie ends at 9:15.
Let's start correlating pages in the original. You know how they go, Tom?
Yes, sir.
I'll grab them as fast as they're finished.
Number 2 is finished. Come on, snap up on number 3 machine.
Please, hurry.
Hold an elevator.
Right.
Here you are. This is the final. Thanks. We'll put them together in the car.
It's 8:55.
Let's go. We'll just make it.
Mr. Kajioka.
Where have you been? It took you a long time to get papers.
I stood in the back of the hall to see the pictures. I thrilled with the people.
Give me the records.
Here you are, sir.
Good. I have news. We have received orders to change names of all branch chapters of our organization, and we must at once seem to stop our activities.
Why?
Why? Because soon glorious Japan will win honor or downfall, and we are ordered to prepare for duty as soldiers behind the guns.
The FBI had everything it needed now on Brother Kajioka. His position as head of the secret society. His activities as chauffeur de luxe for visiting Japanese officers. His role as collector extraordinary of funds for the Japanese war machine. His devious role as espionage agent. Everything the FBI needed except the right to go out and arrest him. Under our way of government, we do not go about arresting citizens of friendly nations. The FBI could watch and wait. And to add insult to injury, while it fretted over its watching and waiting, one of the FBI agents had reason to phone in to the agent in charge of the San Francisco Bureau.
Yes?
This is Logan.
Yes, Larry.
Jim and I have been following Kajioka.
Yes?
We followed him from the Osaka Hotel. He drove straight to Sutter Street.
Yeah?
Parked his car, proceeded on foot to 111 Sutter Street.
Why, well, that's our building here.
I know.
Well, where did Kajioka go?
He's in your foyer, waiting to see you.
He's what? Oh, thanks, Larry. Bye. Yes?
Mr. Kajioka to see you, sir.
Send Mr. Kajioka right in.
Mr. Walker?
Yes. What can I do for you?
I am Kajioka.
Sit down, Kajioka. Now, what do you want to see me about?
I come to FBI because I am honorable man.
I see.
I wish to offer my services to the United States.
Why?
I hate Japanese.
Oh? Tell me about it.
I was born in Japan. One time in Japan, they arrested my father. He was a good man, harmed nobody. They say he was disloyal, but they have no proof, and it is a lie.
What happened to him?
I never see him again. They murder my father.
And so you hate Japanese?
Yes, very much. I would be good agent for FBI.
What makes you think so?
Japanese government tried to get me to work against United States. You know how it is. You have information on certain secret Japanese organizations here. No?
A little.
Oh, that is too bad. With me, you get to know much. I know all Japanese tricks. I make valuable agents.
Perhaps you would, Mr. Kajioka.
You think about it. And remember, I want to work for United States. Great country. I work for FBI and kill many Japs.
Well, we're not interested in killing Japs nor anyone else.
Sometime it will be necessary. Then you tell Kajioka what to do, where to go. And he goes.
Well, thank you very much for your offer, Mr. Kajioka. We'll take it under consideration, and we'll let you know in due time.
Thank you. So much.
Not at all. It will be a pleasure.
Mr. Kajioka might have smelled a rat. That is, if a rat can smell himself. But his surprising offer was politely refused, and his intensified wanderings by day and night were as equally matched by the more intensified watching by the many electricians and workmen, laundrymen, truck drivers, cabmen, innocent motorists, who sent in their reports under the names of special agents of the FBI. Still, all they could do was watch. Watch and follow the little man who was dedicated, like his country, to the destruction of America. Then came December 7th, 1941. On that fateful day, the entire staff of the FBI was gathered in tense silence in each of the Bureau's offices. In San Francisco, even the local law enforcement officers were present, waiting.
Everyone here?
Everyone, sir.
Larry, you and Jim can stand by and watch the teletype.
Right, sir.
The names are coming in from Washington. Names and addresses of enemy aliens to be picked up when the word comes through.
We'll take them.
I know a name you two will want to watch for.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Getting into the K's now?
Yeah.
Hello? Yes, sir. Right. That's the word. Get going.
K is in Kajioka. K is in Kajioka. Come on, teletype.
There it is. Capital K for Kajioka, the little rat. We got him now. Come on.
Otto, now you see who I am. Major Kajioka. Yes. How do I look in my uniform top?
Very well, sir.
Yes. No more lowly chauffeur. Glorious Japan has struck. American fleet. No more. Pearl Harbor. No more. All gone. Soon planes come. Then transport.
Yes.
I have 2 revolvers. See? Oiled and loaded. I give you one. Soon our soldiers march in the streets. And you and I will go out and kill every dirty American we see. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. You watch at the window. Tell me when you see planes. Tell me when you see glorious soldiers of our brave army. I will pour drink for ceremonial toast.
Yes, sir. I'll keep watch.
Soon I will be colonel, then general. Wait until you see how they will reward me for what I've done. I will be big man.
Yes, of course.
I hear planes. Do you see them yet?
Not yet.
Listen, our soldiers are coming. I drink to glorious Japan. They are here. Coming. Banzai!
Come on, Kajioka.
Huh?
Uncle Sam wants to see you about a place called Pearl Harbor.
Kajioka was rounded up with thousands of his kind. Rounded up with the aid of a loyal Japanese American. Like the rest, Kajioka wondered how the FBI had known of his work. Does he remember that little incident back in 1939 when a pair of striped pants and a cutaway coat bowed to a chauffeur's uniform on the hard deck of a Japanese cruiser? Probably not. He wouldn't understand the things that make Americans tick. The American willingness of those who serve our country in the ranks of the FBI. No, Kajioka probably will never understand until it's too late. And how will he ever know that it was too late that day back in 1939?
You'll hear about the disposition of this case in just a minute. On the beaches of Normandy, our boys were seeing the latest movies 24 hours after landing. And not long ago on a Pacific island, 2 Japanese snipers were captured when they tried to join a GI audience to see an American film. Yes, movies follow the flag because Uncle Sam knows that they're first-rate morale builders for battle-weary men. So will you join the Equitable Society in a salute to the motion picture industry? A salute to the daring cameramen who risk their lives in every American attack. To the technical men who developed special equipment to photograph Tokyo from 45,000 feet in the air. To the actors, musicians, and directors who made tens of thousands of valuable training films for our armed forces. And to the 16,000 theater managers who have sold millions of war bonds in every drive. Members of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States will be proud to learn that their premium dollars have helped finance this great industry, which has proved such a vital asset to the nation at war. For years, the Equitable Society has invested in the motion picture industry, as well as in other essential American industries and American agriculture. Yes, in wartime, Equitable Society dollars are fighting dollars. And at all times, they are security dollars. For you, your home, and your country.
As an enemy alien, Yasu Kajioka was placed in an internment camp to remain there for the duration of the war with Japan.
The incidents used in tonight's broadcast are taken from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Programs in this series of particular interest to servicemen and women are broadcast overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Tonight, Kajioka was played by Ted Osborne. The music was under the direction of Van Cleve. The author was Frank Wilson, and your narrator was Frank Lovejoy. This Is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. Now, this is Carl Frank, speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States, and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time for This Is Your FBI. And now the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States brings you a message from the Office of War Information. It may seem slightly ridiculous these hot July days to be thinking of winter heating problems. But actually, it's the most sensible thing you can do. The fuel situation is still critical, so don't put off your heating problems and forget all about them. Check your heating equipment now. Order insulation for the walls, windows, and doors of your home. Talk with your fuel dealer and take his advice. Fill your coal bin or your oil tank right away before the fall rush begins.
This is the American Broadcasting Company.
This is your FBI. This is your FBI, an official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. To your FBI, you look for national security, and to the Equitable Society for financial security. These two great institutions are dedicated to the protection of you, your home, and your country. Tonight, the story of a crime against society, the confidence game.
There are many ways for a thief to steal. There are many forms of larceny. They range from the simplest stick-up to the involved manipulations of a big-time swindle. This present war period has created a fertile field for the swindler. Increased salaries, increased employment set up a ready market for his get-rich-quick activities. On May 22nd, 1934, Congress, by passing the National Stolen Property Act, put into the hands of the FBI an effective weapon against confidence men. In spite of this, however, swindlers still pursue their losing game. Their drama is an old one, and it's worked with little variation. Its first act might begin as this one does, in the office of a respectable businessman. He is greeting a visitor.
Sit down, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, warm enough for you?
I should say so. Phew. You know, I thought they called this the Windy City. I haven't even felt a breeze since I've been here.
Why don't you take off your coat?
Well, sir, now, I don't mind if I do. There. Oh, I feel better already.
How long are you planning to be here in Chicago, Mr. Perry?
Just long enough to complete my business with you.
You mean you came here just for that?
Exactly.
Well...
As I told you in my letter, Mr. Mitchell, this is a really big proposition.
Yes, it must be. You're coming on here from New York.
Suppose I give you some of the details.
Yes, I wish you would.
Well, as you know, I'm the American representative of British Farm Equipment Limited.
Yes?
Our headquarters, of course, are in London.
Oh, I know the firm.
My principals asked me to contact you and find out just how much interest you might have in working along with us on a very ambitious post-war program.
Here in the States?
Yes. Confidentially, we plan to open a factory here as soon as possible.
I see.
And we'd like you to take charge of the plant.
Me? Me take charge?
That's right, sir.
But why should you be interested in me?
Well, we made a complete survey of all men in the farm equipment field. It should flatter you to know, Mr. Mitchell, that your name came out at the very top of the list.
You don't say.
So that's why I'm here.
Well, I certainly am flattered.
Now, I'm not authorized to close any deal with you. I merely came to sound you out and turn in a report.
Of course.
What can I tell the Home Office, Mr. Mitchell? Are you interested?
Yes, very interested.
Good. Sir Richard Barton, our financial director, is arriving in this country in the next few weeks.
Yes?
He'll undoubtedly want to get together with you. Can I cable and say that you're willing to talk to him?
Of course.
Thank you, sir. Well, this has been a very satisfying visit.
The first act in any swindle must sound completely authentic, must convince the victim, must stand up under any investigation he might make. The facts the confidence man gave regarding the farm equipment company were true, with only one exception. He did not represent the company. His victim, naturally, did not know this. So, several weeks later, in answer to a summons from the swindler, Mr. Mitchell traveled east to meet one Sir Richard Barton at a hotel in Newport, Rhode Island.
Some more bread, Sir Richard?
No, thank you.
And how about you, Mr. Mitchell?
I have some, thanks.
What was I just talking about?
The patent rights on that tractor, Sir Richard.
Oh, yes, of course. We have exclusive rights, you know. The tractors can be produced at an extremely low cost.
We can undercut the whole market.
You mean here in this country?
All over the world, Mr. Mitchell.
Where?
I can tell you confidentially that the British government is interested in our company to quite a large degree.
That we don't talk about, though.
Of course.
Frankly, that's the main reason for my visit to America.
Oh?
I have to contact your State Department on some cooperation matters. I'm doing it through our own embassy.
I see.
I may have to ask you to come to Washington with me, Mr. Mitchell.
Why?
Because of your extensive knowledge of this type of manufacture. You might be called on for some off-the-record testimony.
Well, I'd like to help any way I can.
Bully for you. I had an idea that we might... yes? What is it?
What's this?
What?
A wallet. I felt it with my foot. It was under the table. Is it yours, Sir Richard?
No, it's not mine.
Mr. Mitchell?
No, it doesn't belong to me.
Well, What do you think I should do?
Look inside, Perry. See if there's any identification.
Oh, well, I hate to.
Well, then, here, let me have it.
Yes, sir.
Probably dropped by whoever was dining here. Oh, I say. Look here.
What?
$1,000 bills.
Hey.
5 of them.
Golly.
Here's an identification card. Lee Jackson, Surf Hotel.
He's a guest here.
Evidently.
Pretty careless fellow.
I should say. It's fortunate for him that we were the ones who found it, eh?
Yes.
Perry, contact Mr. Jackson. After dinner, have him come to my suite, will you? Oh, answer that, will you, Perry?
Yes, sir.
Another drink, Mr. Mitchell?
Not right now, thanks. Then I think I'll have one.
Yes?
My name is Jackson. Lee Jackson.
Oh.
You told me at the desk somebody up here found my wallet.
That's right. That's right. Come in.
Thanks.
This is the man who lost the wallet.
Oh, how are you, sir?
Okay.
You're Mr. Jackson?
That's right.
Well, I have your wallet here. I think for obvious reasons you should identify its contents.
Sure.
Will you check the items, Mr. Mitchell?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
5 $1,000 bills. Some money order receipts. 3, I think.
That's right.
An Elks card and address book. 2 letters and a racetrack badge in my name. I think that's all.
Does that tally, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, it does.
Very well. Let him have the wallet.
Thanks.
Well, you're a very fortunate man, Mr. Jackson.
Don't I know it? I'd like to do something for all of you.
Oh, that isn't necessary.
Look, take this grand and cut it up between you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jackson, but we're really not interested.
Definitely not. Right, Mr. Mitchell?
Of course.
Well, I got another idea.
Yes?
This you can't beef about.
Look,
I'm around racetracks, what you call a betting commissioner.
Yes?
I'll take this grand and put it on a horse for you. The right kind of a horse.
Please, Mr. Jackson.
If he wins, we cut up the profits. Now, what's wrong with that?
Well,
how about it?
What do you think, Sir Richard?
Oh, I suppose we have to make some compromise with Mr. Jackson.
And you, Mr. Mitchell?
Well, I have no objection.
Okay, gentlemen. It's a deal.
Act 2 of the swindle is always the build-up. The victim is let in on the ground floor, is given something for nothing, usually in great abundance. Mr. Jackson, the latest addition to the rapidly growing confidence ring, returned to the hotel suite the following evening. Returned with a $3,000 profit. His confederate suggested that the money be bet again. He agreed to this, and the second horse won, and the profit was $14,000. Another horse was played, and another, until at the end of 3 days, the trio had a profit of $120,000.
There's the figures, gentlemen.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Well, where do we go from here?
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Perry?
You've got me.
Mr. Mitchell?
120,000 is a lot of money.
Yes, indeed.
That's 30,000 apiece.
I know, Mr. Mitchell.
Can I put in my 2 cents worth?
Oh, by all means, Jackson. Please do.
These horses I've been playing weren't exactly stiffs. Naturally, I had to have information.
Of course.
And I can just about guarantee you that the information is going to continue.
Really?
I'm expecting a bookmaker up here. He'll have the payoff money with him. Meantime, do a little thinking for a minute and see whether you want to take one more stab.
Very well.
Look, I don't have to do any thinking. My mind is made up.
In which direction, Perry?
I'm for playing one more horse.
Well, that's very sporting. And by Jove, I think I'll string along.
Well, I still say 120,000 is a lot of money.
Oh, come now, Mr. Mitchell. After all, we're gambling with their money.
That's true.
Well, then, why hesitate?
Well, all right. I agree.
Capital, capital.
That's probably the book.
Come in.
Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, come in, Frankie.
Okay.
This is Mr. Perry, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Barton, Frankie Stevens.
How do you do,
Mr. Stevens?
We've been holding a stockholders meeting, Frankie.
Uh-huh.
We just about made up our minds to play 120 grand back with you.
Oh, just like that, huh?
Now, what's the matter?
Well, I come here to have a little talk with you about that 120.
Does this mean he's reneging?
Now, look, mister, I don't operate that way. I've got your dough right here in this little bag. But first, I got to find out something.
Well?
You guys have been getting a free ride.
How?
Suppose you had lost $120,000. Would I have collected? Well, would I?
Well, that's hardly the
It's
point.
very much the point, mister. In fact, that's the only way you're going to get your money.
What do you mean?
Show me $120,000, and I mean cash. Then I'll make my payoff.
Now, look, Frankie.
That's my deal, boys. Now get it up.
After the fourth member of the confidence ring, the bookmaker, had departed from the hotel suite, a conference was held. A conference which resulted in the victim, Mr. Mitchell, returning to Chicago accompanied by Perry to negotiate a loan to pay his share of the bookmaker's demands. Now the second act of the swindle has been completed. The victim is primed for the kill. Obtaining $30,000, $30,000 in cash, Mitchell and Perry returned to Newport. Return to the Surf Hotel. Return for the final act.
Now, let me see. You've given me your 30,000, Perry.
That's right.
I have a draft here for 60,000, which was sent to me from New York. I'm putting up Mr. Jackson's share, you know.
Yes.
And you have your money, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, right here.
Splendid. Let me have it, please.
What for?
Perry has agreed to go to the bookmaker's establishment. He'll show him our capital and collect our profits.
Oh, very well.
What about the bet?
How's that?
I thought we agreed that we're going to take a stab at one more horse.
Oh, of course, Mr. Jackson. Of course, it completely slipped my mind.
Perry will still have to bring the dough to the book.
Well, how much are we betting?
Our winnings?
We don't touch any of this money that we're putting up. This credit money?
Of course not, Mr. Mitchell.
What's the horse, Jackson?
Oh, yeah, here. I wrote it out in a slip. You play him to place.
Is that for second?
Yes.
What's the name of the horse?
Why?
Well, shouldn't we know who we're betting on?
Do you know who we were betting on before? Do you know what horses put us 120 G's ahead?
No.
Jackson's right, Mr. Mitchell. He has more than established his honesty to date.
Let me have the money.
Very well. Here you are, Perry.
I'd better be getting over there.
We'll wait for you here. Good luck, old boy, and good hunting. Did they announce any results yet, Mr. Jackson?
No.
Are you sure you're tuned to the right station?
Yeah, we're getting any minute now.
You know, this is most exciting. Do you agree, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, a bit nerve-wracking, too.
Well, I always say a sporting chance is well...
For a race at Jamaica, off at 3:21.5. The winner, post 3, Sun Boy.
Is that our horse?
At second, post 11, Victory Ride.
That's us. That's our bet.
For show.
Well, we won?
Yes, sir. We picked him in the right slot, too. We played him to place.
Congratulations, Mr. Jackson. Congratulations.
This is wonderful.
Should pay better than 3-1.
Heavens. We've made a fortune. Come in. Perry, you're just in time.
We won, Mr. Perry. We won our bet.
On the level?
Yes.
The horse won?
No, ran second, but that's good enough for us.
Second?
Yep.
You mean it didn't win?
What's the difference? We still collect.
Oh, that's awful.
What's wrong?
Oh, I did a terrible thing, gentlemen.
How do you mean?
I bet on him to win.
You did what?
But I told you, Perry.
I know, but he was 10-1. I figured you've been lucky right along.
Perry, that's disgraceful.
Oh, yes, you haven't heard the whole story.
What do you mean by that?
I bet our credit money, too.
What?
Why, you...
Wait, now keep away.
Jackson, don't. Stop. Perry has a very bad heart. Jackson. Good heavens. Perry, are you all right?
He's unconscious.
Yes. Mr. Mitchell, get a doctor, please. There's one on the second floor.
Second floor?
Yes, hurry.
Very well.
All right, boys. Let's blow.
We momentarily close the Federal Bureau of Investigation file on the confidence ring. We'll return to this case in just a moment. We Americans must think very highly of life insurance, because we buy more of it than all the rest of the world put together. 70% of the life insurance now in force on this globe is owned by citizens of the United States. All of which goes to prove that we Americans believe in self-help and self-reliance, believe in watching out for our futures, believe in educating our own children and in taking care of our families. Of the large number of Americans who feel that way, 3,200,000 have joined forces as members of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. Please take particular note of that word society in the Equitable's name. It means that the Equitable is not a profit-making enterprise, has no stockholders, is entirely owned by its members, that is to say, by its policyholders. Dollars entrusted to the Equitable Society to build security for its members are put to work in ways that benefit the whole country, are invested in homes, farming, and in scores of the key industries on which our national security and prosperity depend. By serving its members, the Equitable Society serves America. And now, back to the file on the confidence ring.
The confidence game has an ancient and dishonorable history. Its existence can be traced back to the very beginning of time. Through the years, through the centuries, the pattern has varied, but one element has always remained: the gullible victim. Mr. Mitchell returned to the hotel suite in Newport, Rhode Island, to find that his erstwhile companions had left, had disappeared along with his $30,000. Stunned and bewildered, he returned to his home in Chicago. After a lapse of several days, after carefully thinking out his entire adventure, he decided to tell the whole story to agents of the FBI.
When I finally located the doctor, I brought him right to the suite. To my amazement, I discovered that everyone was gone.
Including the men who'd been assaulted.
Yes, sir.
What did you do then, Mr. Mitchell?
Well, to tell you the truth, I was too mixed up to do much of anything.
Did you inquire for them at the hotel desk, see if they'd checked out?
Eventually, yes. They hadn't paid their bills. They'd just left the suite and never returned.
I see.
I wound up paying for it myself.
Now, this money you gave them, the $30,000, what were the denominations of the bills?
20s, 50s, and 100s.
Did you by any chance keep a record of the serial numbers?
No, I regret to say I didn't. You see, at the time I just didn't suspect.
I understand.
How did this man who called himself Perry first contact you?
He wrote to me from New York.
Did you keep the letter by any chance?
Yes, I have it on file in my office.
We'd like to see it.
Surely.
How accurately do you think you could describe these men?
Oh, quite well. I'm sure of that.
Then suppose you give us the descriptions. We'll send them to Washington, have them checked in the general appearance file.
The general appearance file is an excellent example of FBI thoroughness. This file consists of photographs and descriptions of approximately 15,000 outstanding criminals. Special agents for the Identification Division checked this file for information on the confidence ring. They removed punch cards of all persons falling into the general classification of the descriptions furnished. They placed these cards in a sorting machine. A machine adjusted to sort and finally select by mechanical means cards bearing descriptions similar to those of the suspects. Within a short time, the machine had done its job. Photographs which bore the same numbers as the cards that had been mechanically selected were sent by airmail special delivery to the Chicago field office.
Can I see you for a minute, Russ?
Yes, come in, Lou.
Right. I've just been with Mr. Mitchell. Had him check over the photographs.
Any results?
Yes, he positively identified all four men.
Good.
He really was up against a pretty strong team. Here, take a look at them.
Very well.
The old boy there, the one who calls himself Sir Richard, is one George Willis, an English confidence man.
I see.
The rest of the gang all have quite impressive records, too.
I received a report from the Providence office this morning. The agents did a check at the Newport Hotel.
They uncover anything?
No, there was no indication as to where the gang had gone.
How about Scotland Yard?
We heard from them late yesterday afternoon.
British Farm Equipment Limited is a legitimate company.
How about Sir Richard Barton?
Oh, he was financial director of the company, but he died in 1940.
This gang stayed reasonably close to the facts.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Mitchell gave me that letter he received from the man who called himself Perry.
May I see it?
Surely. Here you are.
Thanks.
Take a look at the letterhead.
British Farm Equipment Limited.
I doubt that it's genuine.
New York address.
Probably a vacant lot.
Yes, but the letter was mailed from New York.
I know.
If this stationery is faked, it might have been printed there, too.
Oh, you're right.
Let's send it on to the New York office and find out.
A slender lead, a letterhead. A letterhead that might have been set up in any print shop in the country. But the letter had been mailed from New York, so agents in that city were given the assignment of checking with every print and stationery shop in the 5 boroughs. It was a slow job, a tedious job, a seemingly endless job, but a job that finally brought results.
Lou,
Yes, Russ.
a teletype just came in from New York.
Oh, on the Mitchell case?
Yes.
What's the story?
That letterhead really paid off.
How do you mean?
Well, first of all, they checked the address. You were right on that. It was a vacant lot.
Well, that figured.
But checking on the print shops really uncovered something.
They picked the men up?
No, it wasn't that strong. But they did find the printer who'd done the job. He said it was for a man named Phil Renville. He lived in a Midtown hotel.
I see.
The agents went to the hotel, contacted the manager, and found that Renville had checked out just this morning.
What a break.
Judging by his description, Renville is really Mr. Perry. The hotel manager also revealed that 3 other men had shared a suite with him.
Then they're all still together?
It would appear that way, yes.
Any idea where they went?
I believe we have.
Good.
The hotel manager recalled that Renville had done some business with the transportation desk. So the agent checked there and found that Renville had bought 4 railroad tickets.
Well, we better have that train covered.
We don't have to.
Why not?
We're going to cover it ourselves.
What?
Sir Richard and company are aboard the 20th Century. They're due in Chicago here tomorrow morning.
It feels good to stretch the legs again, eh, boys?
Yeah.
Frankie, you look as if you're still asleep.
Yeah, I am. This early morning deal was murder.
How long a wait do we have between trains?
A couple hours.
Shall we take a stroll about town?
We'd better get over to the other station first.
Other station?
That's where the chief leaves from.
Oh.
We ought to get our bags over there.
Very well.
Mr. Perry?
Huh?
Mr. Perry?
It's the Yumpche.
Good heavens.
Hello there, Mr. Perry. Sir Richard.
Greetings, old boy. Mr. Mitchell. Well, this is a 10 strike. You've no idea how worried we've been about you.
About me?
Yes. What in the world ever happened to you?
Whatever happened to my $30,000?
Oh, you already know that.
I mean, what really happened to it?
Look, Sir Richard.
Yes?
We're wasting time.
Of course.
We have to make that train.
I think you should answer Mr. Mitchell's question, gentlemen.
Who are you, sir?
We're special agents of the FBI.
Just stay together, all of you.
May I ask a question?
Yes? What is it?
Where can we dispose of 4 tickets on the chief?
The Swindler's drama is an old one, and it's worked with little variation. It's 3 acts of the meeting, the build-up, and the payoff. But since 1934, since the passage of the National Stolen Property Act, the FBI has been able to add a convincing finish. A finish that was not in the Swindler's script. This finish is apprehension and arrest. Confidence men, as well as all criminals, are a blot on the American way of life. Special agents of the FBI will continue to ferret out these individuals, and with cooperation of the public and law enforcement agencies, bring them to justice.
You'll hear the disposition of tonight's case in just a moment. Will you join the Equitable Society in a salute A salute to a man so familiar to you that you tend to forget how important his wartime services are. A salute to the hard-working merchant who runs your corner store. Yes, your butcher, grocer, druggist, and the other small but important businessmen on America's main streets deserve an overwhelming vote of thanks. In spite of shortages, point rationing, and manpower difficulties, they're still doing business at the same old stand, still proving that in a land of opportunity, the right kind of men can always get ahead. The Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States is proud of its many associations with these typically American institutions. And we firmly believe that the millions of dollars of Equitable Society funds that help finance business may truly be called investments in victory, just as are the other equitable millions that have gone into war bonds and war industries. In wartime, Equitable Society dollars are fighting dollars. And at all times, they are security dollars for you, your home, and your country.
In tonight's case, a federal grand jury convening in Boston indicted Barton, Perry, Jackson, and Stevens. They were tried, found guilty, and sentenced to 8 years in a federal penitentiary.
The incidents used in tonight's broadcast are taken from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Tonight, the music was under the direction of Van Cleve. Your narrator was Frank Lovejoy. This is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. And now this is Carl Frank speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time for This is Your FBI. This is Infantry Day, a day dedicated to the doughboy, the foot slogger, the indispensable soldier who storms enemy beaches, knocks out pillboxes, meets the foe face to face and hand to hand. No war was ever won without infantry, and no infantry ever surpassed the heroic American troops we honor now. But remember, they can't reload their weapons with words of praise. So be practical about Infantry Day. Cheer G.I. Joe and his leaders by giving them ample material aid for the tremendous task ahead. On Infantry Day and every day, buy war bonds in the 7th War Loan Drive.
This is the American Broadcasting Company.